Our scene is taken from the show Dixie Swim Club by Jamie Wooten, Nicholas Hope, and Jesse Jones. It's a story about 5 Southern women who are on the same college swim team, and they get together every August in the Outer Banks to renew their friendship. This scene takes place when they're in their 50s. I play Dinah, a high-powered attorney.
And I'm Lexi, obviously the prettiest and youngest looking of the girls. What? When our scene opens, we've just had our weekend, and the other 3 girls have left, while Dinah and I have stayed behind to close up the cottage. Right before this weekend happened, I have divulged only to Dinah that I've been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Bye. Bye. Oh, I'm gonna miss you. Bye. Oh, my.
So, how'd I do?
I think you did great considering the circumstances.
I appreciate y'all keeping my secret. I just needed this weekend to be as normal as possible. And if they knew what was really going on with me, that's all we would have talked about.
Well, you don't know how this touches my heart. You know, this is the first time in memory that you haven't wanted to be the center of attention. I do believe our own little Lexi Richards is growing up.
You know, I never dreamed I'd have to face something like this alone. Of course, it would happen when I'm between husbands. And I guess that's what I get for never having kids.
Well, I didn't know you regretted not having children.
I don't. Lord, Dinah, I am way too selfish to have even considered diverting my attention to a child. Although, facing this, I kind of wish I had given birth to a 31-year-old, fully educated, gainfully employed offspring.
Yeah, well, if that had been an option, even I would have checked that box. The surgery's still scheduled for Friday.
Oh, yes, and I'm handling that part of it okay. I mean, with all the nips and tucks I've had in my lifetime, I'm certainly not afraid of hospitals. Isn't it unbelievable that I have spent so much time and money trying to get the outside of me to be perfect, only to have it come down to the inside that's really the problem?
Oh, it is fairly ironic.
The heck with ironing. If I have spent a fortune keeping myself looking this good, and if it turns out so that I could die looking firm and gorgeous, well, somebody up there's got a lot of explaining to do.
Well, that's something I'd like for you to explain to me. When you got that diagnosis, why did you choose to call me?
Because you're my least sentimental friend.
Oh.
And in this situation, I need a rock. Any of the other 3 girls would hover over me like a mother hen. Although, if you were to find yourself between cases, I wouldn't be adverse to your dropping by to visit me at the hospital if you really wanted to.
At the risk of jeopardizing my title of least sentimental friend, I should tell you that I've already planned to be at the hospital with you every day.
But how can you arrange that with your schedule?
Well, you're not the only one that had a secret this weekend. I had one, too. I left the firm a couple of weeks ago.
What? But your career means everything to you. That doesn't sound like you at all.
Well, actually, it sounds more like me than I've been in a long time. You see, when Randall died, I just worked hundreds of hours of overtime. I took cases I wasn't even interested in, just so I wouldn't have to think about my life. Then a couple of weeks ago, I was cross-examining a witness, and I raised my hand to make a point, and my watch got caught on my pearls.
Not your grandmother's pearls.
No, the ones I got in Malaysia. Anyway, the strand broke. All I remember is watching those pearls fall to the floor one by one, I couldn't think or speak. I just watched it. It was like everything was happening in slow motion.
Now, were those pearls cultured or freshwater, black or white?
Cultured 16-inch strand. Would you just try to follow me here? Ugh. The next thing I know, I'm in the judge's chambers with the paramedics over me. My assistant told me that I was crawling on the courtroom floor, sobbing, picking up each pearl. Well, Judge called a recess and had the bailiff carry me out.
You know, I bet it was a weak clasp. That's happened to me before.
Was
it silver or gold?
Would you just quit asking about that necklace? You're missing the whole point of the story.
No, I'm not. You have had a life-changing experience. The pearls cascading to the floor clearly symbolize your release of the material and the trappings of your career-oriented life. They have no bearing on who or what you really are. Of course your response was to quit the firm. What else could you have done?
Wow, Lex, that was really perceptive. That's exactly how I felt. Every time I think I know you, you throw me a curve.
Come on, Dinah. Just because I am vain and frivolous does not mean I am shallow. Now, beneath this gorgeous veneer runs a deep river of intelligence and understanding. Now, I often mask that because it tends to scare away the more attractive men.
Oh.
So, what are you going to do now?
Well, I haven't thought it through completely. You know, Randall always used to say, when you turn 50, you're closer to the final curtain than you are the overture. But I still think there's time for me to search for whatever it is I'm meant to find. Randall didn't have a chance, so I'm going to do it for the both of us.
Where do you think you'll start?
Well, I've always been at my best when I've had a project. And my project is to make certain that my friend Lexi Richards lives to see another August on the Outer Banks.
They tell me I'm going to lose my hair.
Oh. Well, you fried and dyed that mop so many times. Why don't we look at this as a fabulous opportunity just to start from scratch?
I'll give it a try.
And I kept your secret for the weekend, Lex, but I'm telling you, you gotta tell the rest of the team by Friday. They deserve to know.
You're right. Do you really think everything is going to be okay?
Yes, we're gonna make it through this just fine.
You promise?
Oh, I promise, Lex.